Welcome to Character Deep Dives, where we explore the minds that shape unforgettable stories. Today, we are stepping back into the world of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World to meet one of its most powerful figures, Mustapha Mond. If you'd like to dive deeper into other characters such as Bernard Marx and the Lenina Crown, please check out my previous videos. In the Brave New World, natural birth gone, families forgotten, babies are engineered in labs like the Central London Hatchery and Conditioning Centre, where your entire destiny is decided before you are even born. You are slotted into a caste, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, or epsilon, and you are happy with it. No complaints, no ambitions beyond your station. Monogamy, that's considered insane. Everyone belongs to everyone else. There's endless entertainment, and if sadness dares to creep in, there's soma, a magic pill to wipe away every bad feeling. And right at the top of this perfect machine stands Mustapha Mond, one of the 10 world controllers, the man who can decide your life, your fate, and the fate of an entire continent. But what's going on in his mind? Does he see this world as flawless, or is there a hint of doubt? How does he keep billions under control without a single rebellion? Stick around, because today we are taking a rare peek inside the mind of the dictator who runs the paradise. In Brave New World, history is off limits. Books about Athens, Rome, Jerusalem, even the Middle Kingdom, all banned. But this isn't unique to Huxley's world. Across history, dictators in both East and West, from China to Germany to Russia, have banned or burned books. Why? What's so dangerous about a stack of old pages? Here's the thing. History may not repeat itself word for word, but it rhymes. The same mistakes, the same patterns, they keep showing up. And history books don't just tell you what happened. They often reveal why it happened and how it could be stopped. Wars, revolutions, reforms. These lessons made people think deeply. And when people think, they start asking dangerous questions. Does this make sense? Is this right? Mustapha Mond calls history beautiful and inspiring, but also bunk. The irony? He owns a private collection of banned history and literature, locked away where almost no one can see it. He knows exactly how powerful those books are and how dangerous they'd be to his perfect kingdom. Mustapha Mond is proud of the lab-based baby system. To his students, he paints a vivid and disgusting picture of the old days when children were born naturally. Homes were dark, cramped, and noisy. Fathers were miserable, mothers were sad, siblings fought constantly. His description was so intense, one overly sensitive student nearly cried. When I first read this, I was stunned. How could being born from your mother be disgusting? How could home, the place most people see as their safest space, be portrayed as awful? Parents' love, siblings' bonds, dirty, really? But then I thought deeper. In real-world history, totalitarian regimes have worked to break the family bond. If people love their parents less, it's easier to make them love the state or leader more. Take China's Cultural Revolution in the 1960s, which lasted a decade. Many young people were taught to love Chairman Mao more than their own parents. Students were even encouraged to report their parents for wrong behavior, especially if they weren't loyal to the Communist Party. When they destroy the basic trust and love within a family, people have to place their loyalty somewhere else, and in a dictatorship, that somewhere is the leader. One of the most fascinating parts of Brave New World is when Mustapha Mond sits down with three rebels, John the Savage, Bernard Marx, and Helmholtz Watson. And here's the twist. He actually answers their questions honestly. No propaganda, just street talk. It's like getting a one-on-one interview with a dictator, which, let's be real, would rarely happen in our world. John asks the big one, why ban history and literature? Mustapha's answer, because people wouldn't understand. He says you can't expect the lower castes, the deltas, and especially the epsilons, to grasp concepts like liberty. In the book, epsilons are described as half morons, and deltas aren't much better. Only the highest castes, from gamma upward, have the ability to understand such ideas. Then Mustapha reveals the real secret of control. Group 1, people who can't understand the liberty, truth, or inspiration. Group 2, people who could understand but don't rebel because they are content with what they have. That's the dream scenario for a ruler. Nobody has the awareness or will or the need to fight back. John asks another question, why not make everyone alpha? Mustapha's reply is brutally practical. Society needs all the castes. He tells a story about a place where everyone was alpha, and it was a chaos. No one wanted to do lower work. Factories were on strike. Sanitation stopped, and everything fell apart. His point, you can't have a world full of professors, lawyers, and doctors only. Someone has to clean the streets and keep the wheels turning. Does it make sense? What is your opinion? And what about improving life for the lower castes? Mustapha says they once tried cutting their working hours. The result? More drinking, more soma, endless entertainment, and less happiness. Turns out too much free time didn't lead to fulfillment. It led to boredom. It kind of makes sense. What do you think? Finally, Mustapha talks about science. He was once a scientist himself, until he pushed research too far. The previous controller gave him a choice: exile or the chance to become the next world controller. He chose power. Now he decides which science is allowed and which stays locked away forever. Mustapha Mond's inner conflict. Deep down, Mustapha Mond knows the truth. He once fought for it, but when faced with a choice, exile or becoming one of the most powerful people in the world, in the new world, he gave up his principles and his dream. To live with himself, he tells a story in his own mind that he's on a noble mission, that it's his duty to protect the happiness of others, that without him, people would lose the comfort and the stability they depend on. But here's the question: is he truly serving others or just serving himself? Has he convinced himself of a lie so he can sleep at night? And with no one who can truly challenge or understand him, is the most powerful man in the world also the loneliest? Why do people believe in God? Mustapha once thought that belief in God comes from fear of death and what comes after. But through his own experiences, he realized something different. As people grow older, many become calmer and more accepting of death, not necessarily because of religion, but simply with age. Is that really true? I don't fully agree. Getting older doesn't always mean becoming calmer or wiser. Many older people still fear death deeply. Sometimes aging is just a biological process. It doesn't automatically bring peace or faith. Mustapha also said that belief in God is often conditioned by upbringing. I agree. If you grow up in a Christian family, you are more likely to be Christian. If in a Muslim family, then Muslim. It's less about personal choices and more about the environment and society we are raised in. Mustapha also said God doesn't change, men do. I kind of agree. Technology advances, societies evolve, and humanity transforms. But the idea of God remains constant, unchanged from thousands of years ago. Yet in today's world, with endless entertainment and advanced medicine, some question God's existence more than ever before. How many people go to church nowadays? Why do so many doubt God? People who are suffering often seek relief. In the past, many turned to God, but today, more turn to meditation or therapy, especially for young people. What do you think? Is belief in God driven by fear, upbringing, or something deeper? Has modern life changed how we find meaning and peace? Share your thoughts below. Propaganda. We all know it's powerful. This idea is highlighted again in this book. Imagine hearing the same message thousands of times since you were a baby. It becomes almost impossible not to believe it, especially when it sounds reasonable and appeals to your sense of morality and ethics. Take, for example, the motto of the Brave New World state: community, identity, stability. It sounds brilliant, isn't it? Who wants uncertainty, poverty, disease, or death? Is a new world promises to give you happiness without pain? Wouldn't you believe it's the best way to live? That's the magic of propaganda. It wraps the controller's agenda in nice slogans that sound perfect. Now let's talk about consumption. I always thought consumption was just good for the economy, but I didn't realize it also could be a tool of control until I read this book. If you have the means to buy everything you want, you are happy, and when people are happy, they are less likely to risk everything they have by fighting against those in control. The comfort of buying what you fancy becomes a barrier to rebellion. Control isn't always about chains or cages. Sometimes it's about making us too busy or too comfortable to care. What do you think? Is happiness through consumption a trap? What is your opinion? Let me know in the comments. Mustapha's perfect world is carefully designed. From the moment embryos are created, people are conditioned into strict castes. Propaganda plays a powerful role, shaping minds from childhood. In this world, there are no families, no loved ones to lean on, no books to challenge the official story or reveal any truth. People are isolated. People simply consume, stay content with their assigned place in society. No disease, no aging, and whenever unpleasant feelings arise, there's soma, a quick escape to happiness. But what about us here and now? Are we too trapped in our own version of conditioning? Is propaganda shaping our thoughts and beliefs without us even realizing it? Do you have loved ones to turn to when life gets confusing? Or are we drifting alone, caught between comforting illusions and harsh realities? Would you want to live in a brave new world, one without poverty or uncertainty, if it meant losing yourself? Thanks for diving deep with me. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode, where we'll explore John the Savage, the main character himself. Until then, stay curious and keep diving deep.